got New Kid Ma, we got Froggy Love, and today we're going to be talking about mental health, which is very important. Go ahead,
Yes, it is. Hi, everybody.
Froggy.
Hola.
Okay, so who wants to start? Because I mean, I probably do, but I don't claim it because I think mental health to me is like something that you're going through. You know, I've never like I have my depression, but that's because of what I've dealt with in my life. You know, and I deal with it in different ways than other people do. You know, like there are other situations that like PTSD and all that other stuff. You know, I don't have that as far as I know.
Well, everybody has a different, and everybody can deal with it differently.
Right.
Like, for example, I never thought that I would have to go through certain things, but unfortunately, when after I was diagnosed with the brain tumor, and then I had find out that I had a thyroid cancer, and all that stuff started falling apart on me. And Kyle was only like 3 years old, and the oldest one was under 18. I went to a very, very bad depression that my family didn't even know what I was going through because, like, I guess I was really hiding pretty well because I was always the stronger one in the family that I had to take care of everybody and everything.
Mhm.
But when they all went to work and everything else, it was really, really hard time for me. That's why I said that Kyle kind of had to grow up a little bit quicker than the other kids because he was with me at home and I was in so much depression that I didn't even like pay attention that I have a little child with me, that I should feed him and I should pay attention so he don't get hurt or anything. So one time I actually couldn't find him, and I came down and because I was staying in my room most of the time, I came down and he was on a counter making himself a hot dogs in a microwave with a whole packet. And that's when it kind of hit me really bad, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to either talk to my family about it, that I need kind of help at least talking about it, that it's okay not to have a job, and that it's okay to go through stuff and everything else, but to have a plan for it. So
Right.
it's a very big key to have a support, because then people tend to go to the doctors. The doctors give you pills, and then you sleep away your life because those medicines make you so drowsy, and you just like zombie.
Right.
And you need to be able to talk about it, to recognize it, and to make yourself kind of stronger with a routine, like certain things to do that it's going to keep your mind going instead of being held on the one thing and being depressed. That's what I
Yep.
got out of it.
Well, like I know Tanya talks about the PTSD shit than my life. Amy's life's been different than all of our lives. You know what I'm saying? So it just depends on how you handle.
Yes, it is depends on the individual how they able to actually to take the positive, not the negative from it.
Right. I
The
know.
last psychiatrist I seen told me I basically live in a bubble. If it ain't happening in my bubble, I don't pay attention to it. If you ain't in my bubble, you don't mean shit to me. You're
Right.
just one of my friends. You're not even a friend. Like there's people all around the world, then the acquaintance, and then my OGs, and then
Right.
myself. But my kids will always be by me in
Part
there.
of it. Hmm.
And he said in order for that to change, he'd have to put me on a lot of medications, and he wouldn't like that because it could affect me in the long run. And that's what a lot of people don't understand is unless we learn how to deal with our mental health without the medications, like yeah, get the medications and work on yourself, and then you get off the medications. But to be determined to live off of medications, the outlasting effects of those medications is horrendous.
Right, because some people they feel like the medicine's supposed to fix them. No, 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 no. Individual itself has to fix itself
Yep.
because you have to get strong. And after my brain surgery, like I said, I because I also had previous like before 2 years before that I had my ankle surgery, so I had my leg in a cast, and I still did everything what I had to do. I drove my kids to school, I went to shopping and everything else. I did whatever I had to do with my cast on.
Right.
And then everybody was like, "How can you do that?" I'm like, "Because it keeps me going, not being depressed, not going into my life that I'm going to just waste myself staying in my room, not even being around my family."
Right.
Yep, and that's the thing. A lot of people got to realize that they're like, "Oh, I'm depressed. I'm going to stay in my room. Nobody wants to be around me." Well, that ain't going to help anything because you're by yourself. If you're
Right.
depressed, get up and do things.
Yes.
Motivate yourself to move this, you move it around and everything else.
And have a
And
communication with people, kind of. It don't matter, you don't automatically think about it what they're going to think of you. Don't think that way, because soon as you start thinking, oh, they're going to think I'm this and that. No, 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 no. Express it how certain things make you feel, and someone might be able to give you some advice how to deal with that,
Mhm.
and you never know.
Well,
exactly. And I mean, there is to a point where if you know somebody's going through a hard time and they're struggling, I mean, there is people that have chronic depression and it's a lifelong thing where they'll have their highs, but they'll have their lows. If
Lows,
you
yeah.
see them hit their lows, make sure you help them out
Right.
because that's going to bring them out of
Out
that
of it.
low
Yes, yes,
faster than if they're by themselves. The house is a
definitely.
mess,
Hmm.
because then they just feel worse and worse about themselves. Um, a lot of people don't know this, but until I started really chilling with a couple of people, I um I really I really didn't like showing myself on camera. I didn't like, you know, being out there because I feel
Because then everything
bad
comes
about
down
myself.
to, yes, if everything then comes down to, because like if you isolate yourself with the actual reality, like regular routines, like let's say regular things to do, then you start concentrating on yourself, and then you are hard on yourself, because then you're like, oh, why do I do this, why would I look that, like why can I do this, oh, I'm a loser, this and that. Because even my family, like, because I work my all my life. I worked, like, even when I was pregnant with Kyle, I worked 36 days straight, 18 hours a day. And that's why he was born a month early with the C-section, because my fluids were leaking and he was like suffocating.
right.
And they said that he has to come out. So that's why. But I worked 7 days a week, and I was bringing four of my kids to work with me. I always worked. And then when it happened that I couldn't work, that's when my depression came into play.
Right.
I felt very worthless. I felt I'm not doing nothing. I'm not contributing to the household, and I'm making everything worse because I don't have an income and this and that. Like everything was really so bad on me, till I started, like, sometimes, like, when my family, like, I would make dinner and they like, aren't you gonna eat with us? I'm like, no, no, I can't do that, because I have to make enough for everybody, because I don't have a job. Like, it kind of really affected me in that way.
And that honestly, last week we did talk about how your stomach, you're never really hungry.
Hmm.
That goes into psychological because you just said it right there. You felt you weren't contributing enough, so you had to make food for everybody else, but you weren't including yourself in the
No.
household or the food.
Right, right.
So your brain got accustomed to, I don't want to eat. That's
Right.
where good. And I do the same shit. it wasn't until I really started focusing on myself lately that I realized that I do deserve food and I do deserve to eat and I do deserve to be healthy. And as everybody knows, I'm on a diet.
Right.
And you do
I'm
deserve to be happy.
losing weight,
Right. And see, you do deserve to be happy. You know what I'm saying?
but with the diet and the exercising and the all of that, I started. Well, I deserve at least 2,000 calories a day.
Right, which is that's why when I feel like people when you start thinking about yourself like a routine, because see, my doctor told me after I had my brain surgery, because when they were asking me how do I feel and this and that when I went for the visit month after my surgery,
Yeah,
and I kind of did say that I'm worthless, I don't have a job, I don't do nothing. So and then my doctor's like, do you need to see someone, or I'm going to try to tell you that you cannot think of yourself that way. And she asked me, "Well, what is your day like? Do you do anything at home, or what is I'm like, yeah, I do." So she's like, okay, well then it's your routine, what you able to do. You have to make sure that you wake up every morning, you dress yourself like you would go somewhere, let's say even to work. If you feel that you want to get dressed up, make yourself breakfast, because sometimes like you said, I forgot that I had to eat, like I didn't eat sometimes in days. And she's like, so don't feel that you're worthless, because turn that into that with your kids, that when you're staying at home and you helping, like Kaya was still little, you would have to pay somebody to watch him, but now you replacing that and you're not paying nobody, so you're doing a job. Like she kind of helped me to make the thinking about it different way, approach different way. And sometimes even my husband's like, why do you do so much for the kids? I'm like, well, that's what makes me feel good, that I'm at least worth something, that I'm doing something. Because
Right.
they always like, mom, can you go pick me up? Mom, can you drop this off for me? Like Steven, sometimes when he would work 10 hours a day, he would text me. He's like, "Hey, mom, what you doing?" I'm like, "Well, nothing, Steven. Right now, actually, like just trying to figure out how to keep myself busy." And he's like, "Would you mind to bring me coffee, because I'm kind of tired. I've been already at work, and I still have another 8 hours to be at work." So I'm like, "Sure, just order it, and I'll go pick it up, and I'll bring it to you." And sometimes my husband's like, "Why you do that for the kids? Why do you go and drive him a coffee?" I'm like, "That makes me feel better.
Right.
exactly.
I'm
And
doing something, you know."
yeah, exactly. And um, the way I was told to look at it, if you clean the house, you don't have to hire a maid. So
Right,
for the
which is
maid,
hmm
um,
and like made me,
especially with the,
yes,
I'm a maid at my house. I'm
hmm
the daycare at my house.
yes.
Right.
And that's when I kind of start thinking a little bit differently, and that's when it helped me to come out of the depression, because I was really bad. And sometimes I still, like, I cannot say that I'm completely out of it, because sometimes still, when things happens and everything, I was like, and I'm like, wish I would be at work, or I wish I could do something different, or I wish that, but I'm not able to. So then I'm going back, like, hold on. And I have to, like, kind of rewind myself and say, no, 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 I am doing something. So even sometimes I go even cut the grass, and my husband doesn't like it, but I wanted to cut the grass before he comes home, because I feel bad. He works 14 hours a day. So I don't want him to come in home and cutting the grass. So I'm like, okay, that gives me something to do. It takes me a couple hours. I don't care. At least I'm
It's
outside.
something to do for a couple
Yes.
of hours. And
Yes.
keywords right there. It's outside. Being
Uh-huh.
in your house consistently,
Yes.
constantly is
Uh-huh.
not good for you. You're going to go into a depression and then you're going to go
Yes.
into shutdown mode
Uh-huh.
where you're doing the same things because it's automatically focused in your brain, but
Right.
you're not there. It um After I lost Anna May, I was that way where like my brain was shut down. I was just here physically. I wasn't here mentally. And it wasn't until I really started talking about my daughter passing and my son passing that I finally
like you were able to bring it out to actually talk about it, which is the acceptance of it, not
Yep.
holding in with it, you know?
Yeah.
And that cured a lot of the depression in me because
Definitely, definitely. I can imagine that because
And
it took Roy to tell me that it wasn't my fault
a
for
lot of
me to realize that it wasn't my fault. What up,
right,
Missy?
a lot of people just they're afraid to ask people for help. You know,
definitely.
but don't be afraid to ask for help if you're feeling depressed and you're feeling like you're worthless or no good or whatever. There's numbers out there. Tanya could probably put them in the chat, or the other guys can, or whatever. But I'm just saying, ask people, and if you can see that something's not right about somebody, go and talk to them. Find out what's bothering them, or
Right, right.
wrong with them.
And sometimes even when people with the depression and even when they start talking, which means they need to get out of their system, like they get out of their way to express it how it makes them feel. Even sometimes listening is a good thing, that someone would be there to just hear them out, to support them and tell them it's okay to feel certain way, it's okay to feel depressed, it's okay to do, but don't stay in it. Like, find yourself a routine, find even someone, if you feel comfortable with someone to talking about certain things, find that someone and to even on a phone talk about it. Or even if you sometimes, like, certain shows on TV, like when the kids were little and I would come home from work, the only thing that it kind of made me to escape the kind of reality and the like stress of what next to be, because I sometimes would only sleep 2 3 hours a night because I had to be ready for the next day. I would come home and I just sat down on a couch and I would put the cartoons on, like the Disney movies that the kids love, and that kind of made me feel like so relaxed, and then I was ready to do anything else.
Yeah.
So, like, find yourself. Don't think that, oh, somebody's going to tell you, oh no, you're not doing this. No, 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 you have to find yourself. What is it, how you can handle it, how much can you handle it, and is it okay to even express yourself to someone, because sometimes people are very cruel and critical about it. Oh, you're just depressed, you're just talking about it, you did this and that, and automatically shut it down. No, 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 no. If you don't know about it, how it makes people feel and how they live with themselves every day, don't shut them down. Hear them out. Support them. Tell them that it's going to be okay. Tell them that tomorrow is better day. Just get them somehow thinking that there is other things than just to be depressed and be hard on them themselves.
Right.
Well,
Like,
exactly.
I heard that if you just like are walking down the street and you just say hi to somebody, that might be the only hi they get. You know what I mean?
Yes.
For the only person to say hi, how you
Mhm.
doing? That might
That's
be
it.
the only one that said it. And maybe they need that.
Right. Maybe they needed it, that somebody does not going to judge them what they're going through, but someone still recognizes them that they are human around us, you
Right.
know?
Well,
Well, that's a lot of people's issues is they don't feel loved,
Yes,
and
definitely.
that goes down into either parental abuse or
Hmm.
and neglect, or you know, um, family members doing it, whatever. Some way they got abused enough that they don't feel loved. Bullies at school, the whole 9 yards.
Definitely.
And just that one person sitting and having a conversation with them is going to be more beneficial than, nobody having that conversation with them.
I remember one time when we were up in Michigan, Austin was out playing the saxophone. And this one lady walked up to us and she says, you know, I had a bad day at work. I was going to go home and I was going to end it all. Then I heard that music and it gave me a little bit of inspiration to be like, no, you don't want to do that because there's a whole lot of life ahead of you. And this was a young person. And I'm like, Yeah, his music is actually making the difference, you know, and that's just what people need is a little bit of inspiration sometimes in their life.
Yes,
Like,
definitely.
hey, I
S-
don't need to end it, you know.
Sometimes, when you don't even know what the people are going through, and then you see them and they start talking about, maybe they just need a conversation that's not even related to their life or anything, to get it away from their thoughts and everything.
Exactly.
And that
Uh,
helps. Sometimes it does
Madison,
help.
yeah, Madison said I sometimes had to call mental health crisis line to whenever I was feeling suicidal. But I'm feeling lots better now. Now it's physical health, and now because I had surgery, and now ovarian cysts. Uh, Coming from someone who has a lot of physical issues, as you grow older, those physical issues will be here and there, and some will be persistent, some will come and go. You can't live your life off of physical issues. You have to live your life off of emotional issues. And one of the things that I love doing is, you know, going to cemeteries and just walking to cemeteries and talking with people. But you have to live your life for yourself with or without the physical ailments.
Right,
Like Missy, she loves going to haunted places. She's blind. You don't, and um, uh, she's handicapped, like in a wheelchair handicapped most of the time.
right.
And at the end of the day,
It's
you
how
don't
it makes you feel, not what you feel, like
exactly.
what you have to see. Because, like, I always try to tell my kids, because, like, see, when I came here, and I always try to explain to them, I said, I came to this country blind and deaf. And they're like, what are you talking about, mom? You're not blind, you're not deaf. I'm like, but I didn't speak the language and I didn't know where I was. It was completely something new to me. And that's when I think it kind of started with everything, because I was really so hard on myself and I was really so scared, and like the depression and everything else. And I told my mom, I said, I want to go back home. I cannot live here. I cannot do that. And it took only one person that I barely even understood at that minute. And when I went to high school, it was my English teacher. And she gave me the courage, because she told me that I was one of the students from, like a foreign student, that I was really picking up very quickly on the language, that she never seen that much progression in a person, like, in a child, as I was trying to. And I told her, I said, well, I feel that she was the only one that actually seen me as a person, because there was other teachers that they were bilingual, and especially Polish and English teachers. And I went to help for them to them, like, hey, I would like to know what's going on and how do I do this. And the teacher didn't even spoke a word to me in Polish language. She spoke English, and she said, this is America. I'm not going to tell you. You have to figure it out. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I was like, started from then, I guess, the depression, that nobody cares, nobody wants to help, nobody's going to do nothing, nobody this and that. So I felt worthless.
Well,
But
that brings it back to my point that it started from that one teacher saying,
mhm, that
"This
I'm
is
worth it,
English." Exactly. We need more people to tell people they're worth it
that not worth it.
than
Yeah.
telling people that they're not worth it.
Or pointing out obvious faults, like, oh, you do this wrong, or you do this. Just hold on. Hey, if you're having a hard time, it's okay if you do it that way, but have you tried this way? It's quicker way, or something, like, sometimes the approach, how you explain to people, even though you're saying the same thing what they doing, but the approach, how you break it down, it helps. And
I wanna interject right here. And
okay.
lunatic dad says, "Mama is the strength of my family. Love you, my queen." And the only reason I wanted to stop and interject that is because that right there is what any good man does. And that right there is what, if you ever see a good woman out there, a strong, working, determined, lovable woman, it's because they have that kind of man
Kind of
right
support.
there.
Yes, support. And that's when I, like I said, when I had my brain surgery, because the first thing when they said that I would probably not recognize my family when I come out of it, and that scared me. And they told me to say bye to them before my surgery and everything else. And when I woke up, he was right there, sitting right in my face and asking me, "Do you know who I am? Do you know this? Do you know that?" And he was right there and helping me with everything. And my whole family, my kids, and everybody was there for me. And when I went, like I said, for follow up, and they asked me, "So how am I doing?" Because not many people can deal with with stuff like that, with a major surgery like that. And on top of it, I still forget things, even though it's many years now that I had the surgery, but I'm still forgetful. And sometimes I even tell my kids, I said, I do repeat myself a lot because I forget that I already said that. I don't remember, but you guys know that. But they are very supportive and they like, okay, mom. Sometimes they're like, oh, you already told me that. Well, I don't remember that. So they're like, okay, okay, never mind, never mind. We will help you. What do you need? Or something. So that's why I said I do have a very supportive family, and I think that because of them, that's why I'm here.
Um, we have always, me and Chris have always told people, if you ever need to talk, hit us up. You know how to get a hold of us. We got the Abraxas Paranormal and Gmail, um, the Twitter, everything. You ever need to talk, we're here. You know, Froggy's the same way. I mean,
Right.
she'll lose sleep if she has to.
I will interject there. I am the same way, but if you constantly bring drama about other people, I will not listen to it.
Exactly.
I want to hear what's on your noggin,
Right.
what's affecting you personally.
Uh,
I mean,
that's
I have a homie that he will call me at 4 o'clock in the morning. He'll be like, "I'm so sorry." I'm like, "I was up anyways. I could have just came out of a dead sleep, but I was up anyways. Let's talk about this. What's going on?"
Right.
that definitely, which is that's another thing I always try to tell people. If you feel that you need to talk to someone, and because if it's affecting you personally and how it makes you feel, I will talk about it. But if you're going to start talking about somebody else, oh, because of this person, because this and this and this and this and that, no, 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 then it's not affecting you. You just want to talk shit about somebody else and making it their problem, that it's your problem, instead of working on yourself and trying to figure out how you can be better and not to be depressed about it instead of talking about somebody else. Don't
Yep.
do that.
Well, exactly. I feel talking shit about somebody else is bottom of the totem. Like,
Hmm.
if I have an issue, I'm gonna come to you.
That's it. See,
Now,
that's
there
why.
have been times where, like, I'll be chit chatting with a friend, and that friend is mutual friends with the other person, and I'll be like, we'll be talking, and something will come up, and I'll throw up, yeah, they could do better, but this is how they were taught. They
Right.
don't know better. And at that point in time, I'm not talking shit. I'm defending them. This is how they're taught. This is how
Exactly.
they know how to do things. They don't
Right.
know no better.
It doesn't
And
mean that they're bad people, but just don't know how to handle themselves.
exactly. And if I know somebody who literally was abused as a child and would abuse their child. And it's like, no, just because it happened to you doesn't mean that you get to make it happen to somebody else.
Right.
Look at how they your behavior is. Your
Mhm.
behavior is this way. Don't push it off on your
Somebody
child.
else, yes. Because you should break the chain and try to make it better instead of the same thing. Because, like, the person might have learned how to deal with it and to and like bring it into their lives, what they did, how they lived. But what about somebody else cannot do that? And that's when the mental issue comes in play, because if they're not able to handle it, they might end their life. And that is not something that I would be part of. I cannot
No,
make someone feel that way to end their life because of me. That would be the
exactly.
last thing ever that I would ever try to do.
And a
Right.
lot of people don't think about that. A lot of people honestly just think about themselves. Well, they hurt my feelings. So that means you get to make them feel suicidal? I don't think
Exactly.
so.
Yeah.
Well, then you remove yourself so they everybody comes down, and then when it's a appropriate time, hey, can we talk about this? Because this and this and this happened, and it made me feel like this and this and that. Can we work on something that we're not gonna do that no more? Communication. That's what it comes down to.
Well, and I tell people constantly that communication is the key to any relationship. And I never
Anything.
say a specific relationship,
Nope.
whether it be, your
No
significant
matter
other.
what.
It's literally your parents. You got to have communication with them, even if they
Yes.
don't want to have communication with you. You explain to them, look, this is what I need to communicate at this time.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like it, I am sorry.
Definitely.
Your friends,
Yes.
you can't be the yes man constantly to appease your friends. Sometimes you
No.
got to tell them, hey, get your fucking dick out of your ass and
And that's
grow
it.
up.
Yes, sometimes it is. And like I always try to tell everybody, like I know you guys seen my shirt that it says, I don't sugarcoat shit. I'm not Willy Wonka. Because I always tell the kids, you're not gonna hear that from outside people, but you're gonna hear it from me. And I would rather have you hear it from me when you're screwing up shit or you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing, so you can readjust yourself, instead of you gonna go out there and you're gonna talk shit or do shit that people, you're gonna make somebody feel bad or something, and then god forbid something happens. How would it make you feel? Oh, I wouldn't feel good. Well, then don't do something to people that you wouldn't want it to be done to you. And that's
Well,
what I always
exactly.
tell.
And I tell my kid that all the time. Well,
Mm-hmm.
My,
how would you feel if this
Yeah.
happened to you? Well,
and
Yep.
I won't like it. Well, then don't do it to
Don't do
them
it.
because they don't like it.
Uh-huh. That's how I feel, the same way.
and stop judging people.
Nope,
It's like,
because you don't know what they wake up every day to. You don't know what they're going through. Nobody should be judged. If you want to help, have a conversation and maybe give advice. And if it's a good advice, you're not going to know till you see if it made a change in that person. If
yeah.
you see that person smile, then you should be happy for yourself. I did a good deed for today. I
Mhm.
made someone smile, you know?
Well, that's like when we're out and about, and Abraxas can testify to this one. Even though I am on the bigger side, we were at a tobacco shop. Well, it sold CBD gummies too. But while we were there, the guy behind the counter was hitting on me. And it made me feel wonderful because I'm a bigger person. I have low self esteem because of it,
Right,
because of all the people that pick on me because of it. But then out of nowhere, people will hit on me, and I just feel better about myself. And it's like, okay, maybe I am lovable. Maybe I am cute. And it makes me go home and do my hair and my makeup and makes me feel good about myself.
right. You know, sometimes even to put your clothes on, like, oh, I haven't worn something like that in a while to make me feel better, you know?
Right.
Exactly. Or like wear a skirt. I don't
Yeah,
wear skirts normally, but like, hey, if a guy's gonna hit on me, I'm gonna wear a shirt. I'm gonna wear nice clothes. Yes, I have a boo, but at the end of the day, it still makes me feel better about myself. And the
Right.
reason, and this is no fault to any of our significant others, but we
right.
hear the same compliments continuously.
Right.
Which is sometimes, you know, like one time, because I buy cigarettes for my family. Everybody smokes but me and my daughter. So, and Kyle doesn't smoke. So when I go buy cigarettes, and sometimes they're like, oh, can I see your ID? I'm like, really? like, yeah, we have to card everybody that under 40. I'm like, oh, hold on, honey. I'm well over 40. Well, I have to card you because you don't look like it. I'm like, really?
And it makes your self esteem go
Yes.
up.
And it makes me feel, I'm like, really? That's what people make like see me as? Because I see myself old. So then I'm like, oh, that's very nice. Well, thank you, child, because you know these children behind the counter that are my kids' age. So I'm like, thank you, child. You know, make my day today.
Well, that's like Dead Zone gave. He went up on the one of our streams and he goes, "Froggy, how old are you?" And I said, "Guess," and he guessed 29. I'm like, "Shit, thanks. 10 years of my life, you know."
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
Wow.
I mean, as I was saying, we hear compliments from our
Right.
significant each other, yes, whatever, significant others continuously. So sooner or later, we're just like, you're just blowing smoke out of my ass. But then to have a stranger reaffirm what they're saying, it just makes us feel much better.
Right.
And that's just like men. Uh, the next time a woman is sitting there and getting jealous because, oh, my man's getting hit on, no, listen to him. He'll be like, yeah, I get told that all the time by my girl.
Okay.
Just because somebody is hitting on your man or complimenting him
or
does
compliment
not mean
that they're gonna take them away from you.
exactly.
It's just they be trying to be nice to someone to make their day better or something to make them feel better. You know, because not many people feel good about themselves.
Right. Look. I mean, look at the way Chris is, honey. He's always flirting with girls, right? Do you think I'm jealous? Do you think I care? I'm
No,
like, I know where it comes, and I
You
ain't.
know what happened one time? We were in a car driving and we had a damage. We had a fire damage in the house because one of the kids put the oil on the stove and it started fire on because they forgot about it and the oil started on fire. So then the other child poured the water on and the whole thing exploded in the kitchen. So
Mm,
my we were driving and my husband was on the phone with the insurance lady and talking and he's talking to her, explaining to her like what had happened and everything else, and they were trying to send people to clean up the mess and how much money to pay for this and that. And after he was done talking to her, he's like, "Oh, okay, I love you." And I looked at him like, "What?" And he's like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize. I thought I was talking to you." And we both were laughing so hard that I'm like, you told a complete stranger woman you love her.
I do that shit all the fucking time. I'll be sitting on the phone, and when I talk to my friends on the phone, it's literally
all the time.
love you, bye,
Right.
because I love my friends.
No, I know, but I'm
So
just saying,
then
like,
I'm sitting there talking to a fucking doctor or something, and I'll be like, love you, bye. And Roy will look at me, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm sorry. And they're like, no, that made my fucking day. Don't
right.
be sorry.
Yeah. Which is, like I said, after, and I didn't even say nothing when he was talking. And then after he hung up the phone, and I'm like, so who are you saying you love them? And he looked at me, he's like, oh shit, I thought I was talking to you. So he was consciously not even realizing who was he talking to, because she was only asking him questions like yes or no. So he's like, yeah, okay, okay, okay. And then
Shows you what kind of good conversation he has with mom on the phone. Yeah, okay, okay, yeah,
well, he has a conversation with me for 2 hours at least every day because he drives long, and
yeah.
he's like, oh, I'm so tired and I really I'm just staring at this space and this and that. So then like and he's just like talking. So then half of the conversation is how he bitches about these other drivers in front of him. So I'm like, well, just be careful and then stop bitching shit about him. Just drive, pay attention so you don't get into an accident because you're concentrating so much on them that you not even consciously, but just talking about it. So
Yep.
then and I'm like, so how many miles do you still have? And he's like, oh shit, I got only 50 some miles back. Oh, that was really nice. Then the time passed by. I'm like, okay, now I gotta go and do something because I've been sitting on the phone with you for 2 hours.
See, I love those conversations though, just because I know that I can keep somebody up over the road.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. That's why I told him. I said, if you feel like that, then I don't care. I don't mind. But, you know, it's just like he's got the earpiece in. He's like, "Oh, I'm
Yeah,
gonna buy you those things so you can walk around." Because I'm like, "Well, I want to vacuum the floor. I want to do this. I want to do that," and I'm just stuck with the phone in my hand, so I cannot do much.
yeah, one of those
Yeah,
headsets, trucker
yeah,
headsets, so that
uh-huh.
way. Yeah, I want one of those just so that way I can walk around my house and get shit done
Right.
while I'm doing other things. Because like a lot of times people will call me and I'll be like, "Fuck, now I gotta stop washing dishes and answer the phone and
Right,
stuff."
right. Which is that's what I'm saying. Like, and then he's like, "Were you making noise?" I'm like, "I'm trying to wash the dishes, or I'm doing laundry. I'm doing this," and he's like, I thought you were talking to me. I'm like, yeah, and then I have to just sit here and for 2 hours, and I can't do that. I'm too anxious. I cannot just sit and do nothing.
Well, that's just like him sitting in the truck talking to
Well,
you. He has
yes,
to do something
he has to do
besides,
something because I just looking at the space.
you
Right.
know.
Yeah.
I swear, Mom, you should write a couple of books, okay? One, how to raise your parents, or how to
Oh
raise
my
your
god.
kids.
Oh my
Two,
goodness.
how to deal with fucking men. And
Oh.
three, a romance novel. I would love to hear the
Oh
insights of your idea of a romance because you're older school. So
I know. It's
listening
just
to the older school romance is a lot better than listening to the new genre of romance because the
yeah.
new genre of romance is literally bend over and let me stick it in.
And that's it. And that's what I yell at my kids about. I'm like, do you people know even what love means? Because you guys throwing that love you word like it's like a trash can, like you're throwing shit in the garbage. And they're
Right.
like, why? I'm like, you have to know the meaning of it. You have to understand. And I understand. Okay, fine. You want to tell your friend you love them because you have to feel on that level of that no matter what would happen, you will be there for the person. And that's how much you care about them. So, okay, fine, say it. But then you have to know the difference about how much you love a person. Let's say you have a person in your life that this is your person that you're trying to develop some relationship and maybe to a long life living marriage or whatever. That's a different type of love instead of just, oh, love you, love you, love you, love you. I'm like, you people don't know shit.
Well, exactly. There's a I love you. Like I love the people that
Right.
watch me. I love my
Yes.
followers. I love my
Uh-huh.
that's a love you bye. And
That's
then you
it.
got the people that are Chris, Chris, Missy, Wild One, Lunatic Dad, the people that I'm literally, as Scott, Cindy,
Like
the people I'm on stream with every damn day. It's a,
interacting with, yes.
hey, I love y'all.
Mm-hmm.
There's more of a caring. And then there's the Roy, love you.
Right, which is that's the one that it's closest to you, which is on regular basis interaction with the physical, emotional, and everything. And that's what
Exactly.
what I'm trying to tell these kids. I'm like, you guys don't understand, and that's how you young kids misunderstand each other. That's why the relationships don't last long
There's
because
no
you guys don't
communication.
no communication and don't understand the meaning of love someone, and one takes it differently than the other one, and then there is a chaos.
Right.
Well, not only that, some of these girls, if you say love you to, they think that you're going to fucking propose to them.
Or you have to buy them everything, pay for their everything stuff, and do everything for them because you told them you love them. Now,
Right.
hell no,
Love
you
you
should
too,
had
Cindy.
gonna, yeah, yo, you should had better start doing shit for me too. Like I said, I understand. Fine. You start going out with the girl, right? Either it's a girl or a guy. You don't expect out of each other, oh, you have to pay my phone. You should do my nails. You should pay for my hair. You should pay for my groceries. You should pay for my shit because you are my boyfriend or you're my girl. No, 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 no. You shit has better have your job. You have to take care of your own ass. and then see how this works together when you bring it all together, and then figure out, oh, I wanted to be nice to you because I want to show the appreciation how you treat me. Here is the treat. I'm going to pay for this, or I'm going to buy you this, or I'm going to do that. Instead of expecting it, no, 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 no.
Well, see, and okay, so I kind of put that value into my son that when you're, when you're to the point where you're dating them a year, spoil the fucking piss out of it. Do their nails, whatever.
Right. But I
But
also,
also make sure that you spoil them in a mental way
right.
with the physical way.
Mm-hmm.
Take them out to dinners, hold their hand while you're walking.
And even to
Um,
be supportive with conversations, like,
exactly.
something. That's
Have
what
a
everything comes in play.
conversation and
Yes.
not just a one-sided where oh, I'm listening. No, I don't want
No,
that
no.
one-sided conversation. I want to hear
Both sides
your
interacting.
opinion on shit.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear your opinion, your point of view on how this is going to help us, how this ain't going to help us, what's going to help us, what's not going to help us,
Tanya, don't you
how
think
you feel.
if you have that conversation, don't you think that you could tell if there's something wrong with that significant other or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
Like, like
Well, okay, so my daughter and her boyfriend, perfect example. Every Wednesday, they sit down because they don't live together. They've been going out forever now. They don't live together. Every Wednesday, they sit down and have an open conversation about how they're feeling about the relationship, what they need to work on together, what each person needs to individually work on. Both of them are going to therapy individually, and they'll bring it up with the therapist. Well, I was discussing this with my boyfriend last night, and he suggests that I work on it this way, and the therapist will be like, good idea or bad idea. So they're getting a second opinion about it, but at the same point in time, they are learning how to develop a healthy relationship with that open communication, trust, and honesty because they're
Mm-hmm.
discussing that relationship in hand. And I know a lot of people frown on it, but I think BDSM is probably one of the best people that ever fucking show how to run a relationship because when they sit down and officially start, their interactions for a relationship type, they discuss it. They discuss their hard limits, their soft limits, they can go ahead and do this, how they want to live their life, the whole 9 yards. Then, after that, every so many months, they have an open communication talk about how this relationship's going, what they want to change, has anything changed, what they want to try new. And honestly is probably one of the best. I learned that about 7 years ago, and it's improved my relationship completely. Hi, Blowhole.
hmm. But like going back to like the mental health thing, talk to people if there's something you see is wrong with them. It's like it's just so easy for someone to do. Hey, Joe, what's bothering you? There's something wrong. I can tell.
Right. That's it. That's what it should be. Kind of recognizing, like, hey, something's off of this person. Hey, is there something bother you? Do you need to talk about something, or do you need any help with something? And that sometimes even that little thing, it helps with somebody. That, okay, they ask me, so maybe I can talk about it, how it things making me feel or something.
Right, like
Well, and that's why the communication in your relationships, you can have that communication with yourself.
Hmm.
And it will improve your mental health because you have healthy relationships. It improves your mental health because you're not straining, you're not having, oh,
Right.
I'm a
Dealing
piece of
with yourself.
shit. I couldn't get up and clean my room today.
Yeah. Like you dealing with everything like to yourself, and that way you know that you're able to express yourself to someone in your family or even a friend that they might, kind of lift you up a little bit because you feeling down.
Well, people are afraid to go get help because they don't want to be in the category with nutcase people.
Uh-huh.
They don't want to
Definitely.
be pointed out like, oh, they're on medicine, so obviously they have a problem.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, and I hate to say it, even if you don't go to a therapist, talking to someone is going to get
Is
help.
a
Yeah, I
therapy
can't give you
like a
I can't give you
professional.
medication,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, I could give you something to break. It will help.
Yeah. Like a little advice, or sometimes even, like, for example, like you might deal with certain things certain way, and somebody else dealing with the same thing a different way, and they might give you a little in and out, like, hey, try this or that, and then you're like, oh, that would work because that makes me feel better, like, and then it's a actual therapy itself, like, sometimes they say, oh, let me go for a coffee with my friend, and then, just a conversation that itself, it helps to just get it out of your system, express it, and to at least to have someone to know that, hey, you know what, you're not crazy, you're not going crazy, and you don't need to be put somewhere underneath a locking key. You just are a normal human that everybody goes through stuff.
Like with Dad's bipolar, he likes to breadstick. That makes him feel better. He's
Oh yeah.
he's even said it. Talking like getting shit off his chest. That makes him feel better. The best thing for me when I was younger, when I would be so pissed off at the world, I would take a pillow and I would just scream into it. And that was like release for me because like I was so angry and pissed off at the world because what happened to me when I was 14, you know, and I'm like, just why? God, why? I could never figure out why, but just doing that helped me. Screaming into that fucking pillow. Because people like,
Definitely.
go
And whatever, sometimes, if it, like, some people say, oh, they go to a gym, that they go to run on a treadmill, or they go for a walk because that's what make to get their, stuff out of their system.
ahead.
Whatever it helps you, then do that, because then that way that instead of, like, how many people do you hear on TV sometimes, oh, they went and killed someone because they were going through whatever stuff they were going to. Well, you don't want to get to that point that you're going to kill somebody or you're going to kill yourself, because what is it helping? It's not helping no one. It's
Right.
not helping, it's hurting. Because then how many people do you hurt by killing somebody? You hurt yourself, your family, the other people's family, and the person that you killed. And that's a lot of, like, a big circle that actually it's getting hurt by, instead of just a normal conversation. Like, even if you need to go in outside and scream out or something, or even some people, they go and take the tennis ball and just throw it against the wall, like, to relieve the pressure. Well, do that if that's what helps you.
Or punch things, right, Tanya?
Yeah, but I, if I'm not near a cemetery, I will punch the fuck out of something. But not really if it's like really eating at me. I'll go walk and talk to the fucking spirits in the cemetery.
Yeah.
Which is that's what, like, you feel that, okay, let me just walk and let me just, talk about it, whatever. It's That's what helps you. Then it's a good thing because you're relieving your pressure instead of holding it you
Yep.
know
Yeah.
And talking helps. I don't know how many times I have to say this. And I'm the annoying pain in the ass. What's wrong? Talk to me. Why won't you talk to me?
Oh yeah, me too. I'm like,
And they're like, I just don't want to talk about it. I don't
I
want to be, especially
bother.
my
Oh,
man friends. Okay,
uh-huh. I don't want to be bothered.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't
Yeah.
want to be a pussy ass bitch.
No.
Perfect
Well,
example.
No.
how about this? You be a pussy ass bitch. You talk to me like a
Because
fucking grown up, not a fucking two
exactly.
year old, and we get this
Exactly.
off your chest.
Uh-huh.
Perfect.
That's how I feel.
My son does not talk to us, right? But Tanya can get him to open up because she's relentless. She will not stop. You know, she will eventually get it out of him. But he won't talk to us.
No, because men feel that like the same way when men feel like, oh, men don't cry.
Right.
Everyone cries.
Men
Because if that's what it's going to help you to relieve the stress or relieve the pressure, cry, yell, scream, whatever it takes, you
right.
know? That doesn't make you a weak person.
Nope.
That makes you a human, that you have feelings, that you're able to feel something, either it's good, bad, or whatever it is. So that's how actually it's supposed to be, because many times, like long time ago, my husband was like, oh, man don't cry, man don't cry, and he was on like so much stress going on, whatever, and everything else, and eventually finally one time, actually, he like was drinking. That was years ago. And then he was like, start crying, and I'm like, okay, let it out, let's talk. No, because I'm drinking. I'm like, well, but that makes you easier to actually let it out. So whatever it is, talk about it. And after he talked about it, after he said whatever was bothering him, and I told him, I said, okay, so now when you wake up in the morning, and I'm going to ask you the same thing. And if you feel that you're able to talk to me, there's the barrier that you crossed, that you were able to express it, what was holding on in you. And that's it. And
Right.
now till this day, he's like, that was the best thing ever that it happened, that I was actually able to get it off my chest, what I was feeling and holding in for so many years, that I finally broke down. And you didn't judge me. You didn't say nothing, like, and now I feel better. I'm able to talk about it.
Right. Because if you hold it in, what's going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're going to explode. It's just like when you're blowing up a balloon, and then when you get so much freaking air into that balloon, what happens? It explodes.
Yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's what happens if people hold it in. And I don't know how many times I've told Kurt, don't hold it in. He just refuses. He
Yeah. Sometimes it's just
oh,
holding in. It's like even you're hurting yourself more too, because all the nerves and everything else, it's getting damaged and shut down. And I learned that like my nerves kind of shut down, that I would get numb and I would just collapse, like not like, I wouldn't lose consciousness, but because of my nerves shutting down, I would fall down like I lost consciousness. Then that's when they said that, yep, my nerves are damaged, and that's when I get stressed out. That's when it's like pressing all the nerves and everything else, and my nerves cannot handle it. So that's when I should not be, like, if I'm able to talk about something, or if I'm able to cry, even if I'm by myself, and if I cry, it's okay, because then the pressure relieves it, instead of me fainting and laying there somewhere that nobody can help me. Then that's better that way.
oh
Well, and Blowhole pointed out that he don't like showing that emotion crying, right?
Hmm.
And you don't, we're not saying you have to cry. What we're saying
It's
is you
okay
have
to.
to express your emotions some way, whether it be sitting and chilling and talking to somebody, destroying something, um, just somehow getting that emotion out of your system is more beneficial than holding it
How,
in
yes.
and letting it eat at you, because it will
Hmm.
eat at your brain. Um, and then you go on this self-destructive path where everything sucks, everybody
Yes.
sucks.
Yes, definitely.
And I know Blowhole is great at conversating his emotions, not really showing them, but
Right. You don't
conversating
you
how he
don't
feels.
have to cry, but it's okay. If the tears come out, it's okay. because people misunderstand that, oh, crying makes me weak or this and that. No, 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 no. You're not weak. We have emotions. We are people. We are humans. We feel things. And when you don't, you feel like, oh, I cannot show that because that's a weakness. No, 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 no. That shows that you are human. That's it.
Exactly. It shows that we're human beings from
And you have feelings, and you can have feelings the same way when people say, oh, well, I can laugh about things and everything else. Well, that's a expression of being happy or something making you feel better. That crying is the same thing, showing the emotion of yourself. It's the same thing.
exactly. Where'd our co-host go? She ran away.
I know I don't see her. I'm trying to look. I thought that I missed it, but and she's not here. Maybe
She
she needed a
probably had to
break.
go to the bathroom.
Yeah, maybe she needed a
But no,
break.
and once again, mental health and emotions go hand in hand.
Oh yes,
So the more your emotions are, you're not letting those emotions out, the worse your mental health is going to be. The more you
definitely.
let those emotions out, the
Uh-huh.
better it's
Then
going
it's
to be.
easier. Then it's
And
easy. And
just
that's
like
the
Lola,
bottom of line, that, like I said, number one is, if you feel that you cannot talk to nobody, try to find someone that it makes you feel comfortable to talk about things that you trust. Because
even
number
if
one,
it's your loved one that passed away.
yes, even that, because they say trust communication goes hand in hand. So if you trust in someone that they not there to judge you, to hurt you, then they there to help you no matter what, even to express yourself, to get it out of your system, that it's gonna make you feel a little bit better. And that's it. So sometimes that's what it helps.
Well, it's finding somebody who's neutral, somebody who don't have anything to gain.
I know. I know.
We're just waiting for Abraxas to get in here. But
Oh,
yeah,
Uh,
a lot of men say that they don't feel pain or they don't want to cry. They won't cry.
uh,
Nobody's telling you to fucking cry. We're
right.
telling you to release the emotions the way
Emotions,
you know how. That's
whatever
beneficial
it
for
is.
you and everybody
I
else.
saw.
Yes.
Nope, I'm not part of that group.
Oh,
Well,
I,
yes, you are. Shut your pie hole and show your emotions one way or another.
oh, and finding somebody neutral in the whole thing,
That's it.
the best.
So
So,
then you don't feel judged. So you don't feel that, oh, you have to withhold certain things because they're going to say this, they're going to say that. No, that should not be. It should be somebody that it would be able to understand. And even if it's a family member, then automatically you have to express it and say, hold on. If you want me to open up and tell you what's bothering me, I don't want to hear no judgment from you, no telling me what am I doing wrong. Hear me out and help me to feel better. That's it.
Exactly. And that's what I do when I talk to all of my friends.
You got
I
something?
don't tell them how they should fix it or how they should fix it. I tell them,
Right.
how are
That's it.
you gonna fix it? What are
Yeah.
your opinions that? But it is time for football, so we
right.
should get off here.
Yes,
So
we should get out because they're already yelling, screaming out here. And I'm like, okay.
Okay. Now, Lunatic Mom, any final words for the people that were in the chat?
Well, I really appreciated that. I didn't expect it that people actually listened to that, but I really appreciated that everyone was there. And thank you so much. And I hope you all find a way to communicate with someone, or to find a way how to reach out to someone, no matter what you're going through.
Froggy?
I love you all, and remember that just because you don't show emotions like everybody else does not mean that you're bad or anything else. Just
Right.
talk to somebody,
Mm-hmm.
anybody.
Guys, thanks for coming in. There's no shame in crying. talk to somebody. Call the 1-800 number if you have to. I appreciate all you guys. I love you guys very much. Lunatic Mom and Tanya, thank you very much for coming up here and talking about it. I know it's a tough thing
Well,
to.
thank you for having me.
All right, love and light, guys.
Well, have a wonderful Sunday.